Good morning to all. I am S. Kalaivani, Assistant Professor of English, JJ College of Arts and Science, Pudukkottai. Now I am taking the paper Shakespeare. Now we are going to see his greatest play, The Tempest. Tempest is a tragic comedy. The story begins when Prospero causes a tempest in the Mediterranean Sea, in which his brother Antonio and his fellow Alonso, king of Naples, are washed up on an unknown island, and all the characters finally meet in Prospero's cavern. Caliban, a monster, organizes a rebellion against Prospero with Stefano and Trinculo that fails. And Ferdinand falls in love with Miranda, Prospero's daughter, and finally Prospero and Alonso reconcile themselves. This comedy, the last written completely by Shakespeare, wants him to leave the role of the playwright to reconcile him with the society, like Prospero, who leaves the magic to reconcile him with Alonso. Now we are going to see the act-wise summary. It have 5 acts. Act 1, The Tempest. Prospero, with his magic power, breaks out a tragic tempest in the Mediterranean Sea and gets his brother Antonio and his fellow Alonso shipwrecked on a mysterious island. And Prospero uses Ariel, a ghost, to activate his plan. Too close to a Mediterranean island, a storm overcomes a ship that carries King Alonso of Naples, his son Ferdinand, and his brother Sebastian. They were on their way home from Tunis to Italy when the storm hit and demolished their ship. Shipwrecked with them are the courtier Gonzalo and the Duke of Milan Antonio. From the island, Prospero, the former Duke of Milan, watches the storm and shipwrecked with his 15 years old daughter Miranda. Miranda fears from the ship's crew, but Prospero assures her that everything is fine. He decides to open up about his past, telling her how 12 years previously his brother Antonio had deposited him in a cup. With the aid of Gonzalo, Prospero had escaped in a boat with the infant Miranda and his books of magic. They traveled to Ireland, made it their home, and enslaved the only native islander, Caliban. The only other inhabitant of the island are the spirits, including Ariel, whom Prospero had rescued from imprisonment in a tree. Since Antonio was on board that is now shipwrecked, Prospero hopes finally to rectify his past. As Miranda sleeps, Prospero discusses his role in the shipwreck with Ariel. They plot about what to do with the men now that they are on shore. The courtiers from the ship are cast ashore unarmed. But the king is near despair, believing that Ferdinand, his son, drowned. Ferdinand has actually arrived safely on a different part of the island where he meets Miranda and they instantly fall in love. Prospero, fearing his daughter, captured Ferdinand and forces him to carry wood. In the meantime, Ariel seeks his freedom. Prospero promises that he will liberate Ariel from servitude following the completion of just a few more tasks. Now we are going to Act C. We are going to see Act 2. Alonso is desperate because he thinks that his son Ferdinand has drowned and he explores all the island searching him. Ferdinand is in death, but he is fallen in love with Miranda, Prospero's daughter. Ariel uses music to lead the courtier astray, while Sebastian and Antonio plot to kill the king while he is asleep. Their attempts to attempt is foiled by Ariel. All the people from the ship became ever more confused as they wandered around. In another part of the island, the timid, courtful Trinculo has come ashore and discovered Caliban. Trinculo hides beside Caliban from an approaching storm, and the ship's butler Stefano finds them. Now, Act 3. Caliban, a monster that lives on the island, meets Stefano and Trinculo, two drunken, and they organized a plan to kill Prospero. Ariel heard them and informed Prospero about this plan. The plan was failed. Stefano, Caliban, and Trinculo, at Caliban's suggestion, intended to kill Prospero and make Stefano lord of his island. They get very drunk before setting off to the cell to kill Prospero. Ariel, who saw the whole thing in his invisible state, report this wicked plot to his master. Meanwhile, Prospero has relented and gives his blessing for Ferdinand and Miranda's marriage. Then he entertained them with a mask of goddess and dancing reappear before he remembers Caliban's plot. Now, Act 4. Prospero and Ariel then set a trap for the three plotters. Stefano and Trinculo fall for the plot and become distracted by gaudy cloths hang out for them. After they touched the clothing, they are chased away by spirit disguised as dog. Prospero begins to planning his punishment and reward. He prepare himself to the reconciliation. There is a sort of interlude in which are entertained the character of Ferdinand and Miranda. Now, Act 5, Reconciliation. The whole work ends with a general reconciliation between the characters. Miranda and Ferdinand marry. Prospero, with the marriage, returns to the dukedom of Milan and reconciles him with Antonio and Alonso. Ariel brings all the courtiers to the cell where Prospero, reconciling his magic, reveals himself. Instead of enacting his revenge, he forgives them and accepts the return of his dukedom. Ferdinand and Miranda are betrothed. betrothed. Sailors come to announce that the ship is safe. Prospero fulfills his promise and frees Ariel while Caliban and the drunken servants are rebuked. The play ends as all go to celebrate their reunions, and Prospero asks the audience to release him from the play. Now we are going to see the characters. Prospero, the key character. Prospero was the Duke of Milan, overthrown by his brother Antonio. All the events in the work depends by him. He has magic power and he uses them when he causes the tempest, his revenge against Antonio. Antonio the Asper. Antonio is Prospero's brother. He usurped the dukedom of Milan and exiled him on a mysterious island in the Mediterranean. He also planned to kill Alonso and to usurp the throne of Naples. He shipwrecked because of the tempest. Next character, Alonso. Alonso is the king of Naples. He is in the same boat with Antonio at the dramatic moment of the tempest and shipwrecking. Gonzalo is a Neapolitan courtier and he is the secret helper of Prospero and Miranda after the shipwrecking. Ariel has not a body, he an immaterial magic spirit. He was imprisoned in a tree by Sycorax, an African witch, and he is freed by Prospero, who uses it to activate his plan. Another character, Caliban, the monster. Caliban is a terrifying creature who lives in the island and governed it before Prospero came there. Helped by two drunken Stefano and Trinculo, he carries out a plan to kill Prospero that failed. Ferdinand and Miranda. Ferdinand is the Prince of Naples, Alonso's son. Miranda is Prospero's daughter. In the second act, Ferdinand and Miranda fall in love. Their marriage at the end will be the reason of the reconciliation between Prospero and Antonio. The theme of the play, forgiveness. The theme of forgiveness permeates all the events of the work. The final reconciliation between Prospero and Antonio and the marriage between Ferdinand and Miranda depend from it. And next theme, wild exotic setting. All the events in the work are set in mysterious land with terrifying creatures unknown by the characters that visit these places. These places can also be dangerous, like the sea in Tempest. And another theme was magic illusion. Another important theme is the magic that literally organizes and governs all the events. It creates a sort of theoretical illusion because there are supernatural beings and powers that permit the activation of magic facts. And another theme was black and white magic. We can see the black magic in the action of Sycorax that works evil in every circumstance. The white magic derives from the study and the books and repentance, power and knowledge. Reconciliation with society. We can understand Shakespeare's feeling of the reconciliation with the society in the figure of Prospero that reconciles with his old foes Antonio and Alonso. Thank you.